From the Nevada State Correctional Facility, one half of Caged Heat, Loca!
Doing crazy times for my crazy crimes. You got me crazy going with these crazy rhymes. Yeah, this ain't no place for nobody. Yeah. What's up, y'all? What's up, Mike?
Hey everyone, welcome to the Mike Rand Show. And today's special guest is one half of the tag team Caged Heat from WOW Women of Wrestling. Please welcome Loca!
Loca! I love that, Mike. Hey guys, how are you?
Thanks. Good. How are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. We're so excited to have you here. I'm so excited. You were one of the best tag teams. Well, you were the best tag team on WOW. All the way there from the very beginning, season 1. Amazing. Can you tell us, how did you get into WOW?
Oh, my story is very particular. The girls have been training the whole time. I mean, I heard stories that they were training for months and months before the show even got become televised. And so I get this call from a friend from junior high. I'm living in LA, and she says, hey, she worked in a hospital. She said, hey, I got this guy here. He's visiting his dad, and he's looking for athletic actresses. And I told him that you were out there, and I just moved out here. It was like 99, maybe the beginning of 2000. And it turned out it was this guy that worked with WOW. And I came into this, audition, and the girls were already training. And David McLean showed me this pilot, which I did not like. I said, because I was like, I don't know what this show is. I don't know what's going on. And the pilot didn't even have any of the girls. It was just something they shot to, to get money for the show. And then I said, I couldn't wait to leave. And David McLean's like, hold it. How about you just meet the girls? They're going to be here in a little bit. And I was like, okay, fine. So I go down to the dungeon of the forum, is what we called it. And I see the 2 rings, and the girls are just going at it, and my eyes, I was just like, oh, I just found my tribe. And the one girl that I focused in on was what we know is Delta Lotta Pain. And I was like, I just gravitated towards her. I loved her energy in the ring. And I was like, oh man, I didn't know anybody's name. I didn't know anything. And then I said, okay. And then the next day I came in and I just started training, and I didn't know what I was doing. I woke up the next day, like every single part of my body hurt. And I couldn't even, people who work out, who do legs and stuff, and you can't like bend, that's what it was. But it just got easier and easier. What had happened was one of the original girls for Caged Heat got injured, and the show was starting in about 2 or 3 weeks. It was really one of those, like, we need somebody now. And I was blessed with timing. And so I went in, and the next thing you know, the next day, this guy walks up to me. He's like, your name is Loca. And I was like, okay, I jive with that. 3 weeks later, Delta and I are walking down the ramp, and it's still, I can't believe it. It was a dream. It was crazy.
Had you ever watched wrestling before?
I did. My uncle, I was born in Queens, and my dad lived in Queens. My mom lived out in Long Island, and I would always be at my uncle's house in the Bronx, probably twice a month, and he was obsessed with wrestling. So I think it was like Sundays back in those times where it would be on Sundays, and we would just, and at first I used to be like, oh my God, this is so dumb. And then I just got so into it just because of the athleticism. I grew up around sports, music and sports is what I was surrounded by, and the characters and stuff. So, really loved it, but I didn't really, I never went to a show, and I didn't think it was possible. It was one of those things where I never thought that this would ever be something that would be a possibility for me, especially in my family, that I was the one that got the sports contract compared to my brothers who are amazing athletes. So that was fun.
How athletic were you growing up? What kind of sports did you do?
I was never the best. That's the thing. But I always had this drive and this, passion of striving to be the best. I played softball. I was a cheerleader. And I was a catcher and a center fielder. So I always had a big mouth as a catcher. I always got the big mouth and directing everybody, and a good arm, and I was fast as a center fielder. And but cheerleading of all sports was what really helped me with wrestling, because it's that rhythm, it's that this metrodome in your head of timing, and it goes with comedy, it goes with drama, and definitely with sports, obviously, right? It's physics, when to hit the ball, when to kick it, when to punch, when to duck. And I was a gymnast and a swimmer as a child. So I was really a fish. I'm a Pisces, March 18th, / crazy, which why it's perfect that my name is Loca.
I'm a Pisces too. Pisces and East Coast.
You see, we find each other. We find, when's your birthday?
On the 7th of March.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So, you couldn't get me out of the water. So the swimming and the gymnastics is really what kept my core, all my muscles. So I always had like a little like muscular body, growing up. So I think that really helped a lot. And like I said, the cheerleading, I never knew. And the cheerleaders in high school, we got more hurt than the football players, because we did mounts. I always wanted to be the girl on top. Like, oh no, I was like the strong girl in the middle holding the whole thing up.
Now, as a cheerleader, who are you more like, Patty Pep or Patty Pizzazz?
Oh, Patty. Oh my God. I was not. I was like a Nirvana cheerleader. I was in my own in my own world. Probably Patty Pep. She wore the patch eventually. I can roll with that.
Oh, no, that's Randy Rara.
Randy Rara, yes.
Yeah, I meant healer face, because Pep and Pizzazz.
Oh yeah. So heel, of course.
She had, besides Caged Heat, she also had that best theme music there, Patty Pizzazz and Patty Pep.
Absolutely. Absolutely. My nephew, every time, he was like 2 or 3 years old, he would always start like dancing to that. It'll get you going. It was some great theme music back in the day.
How was the training like back then for you?
Because like I said, I was the last person to roll in there, and things were going, Selena Majors was doing all this, the training, putting everything together. And so I was in a ring with Peggy a lot. And she called me Rose for like, I don't know, the first 2 weeks I was there, and I didn't say anything. I was like, this woman can call me. She's like, hey, Rose, so I'm going to teach you how to do this. And I was like, no problem. She was this giant woman to me, and just the presence that she had as a trainer. So I was there every day, and then some. I stayed, I think it was only about 3 hours a day, but I stayed from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. as long, and I just wanted to learn every single thing. I just sat by Selena and Peggy and just observed. I mean, that's how I learn mostly anything in my life, is just observation. And I just wanted to know. And when I get a hold of something, I want to know how it works inside out. And that's what was wrestling for me. So yeah, it was hardcore. But the more you do it, sometimes I feel like my back gets better when I get inside the ring. I'm like, I don't go to a chiropractor. Let me just do a match. I'm good.
And you mentioned that you came in a little later. So the character of Loca then was actually developed before you came on, correct?
Well, it was Vendetta. So Vendetta, so it was Vendetta and Delta. And so there was never supposed to be, the third. So then when I came in as Vendetta was healing, they already had this whole, you know, the set list, I guess, the show list, whatever you call it, all ready to go. So I had to really just be like plugged in, and I just hopped in, and the rest is history.
So when Vendetta, because we did have a Vendetta come into the show for a little while and then leave, was that the same girl or was that
Yep.
a different girl?
Same girl.
Okay.
Same girl.
And do you happen to know why you guys didn't then keep it as a trio?
Well, we won she came in to win the belts, help us win the belts, and it was the best moments when Vendetta and Peggy Lee Leather bumped each other, and she just slammed Peggy, and it was just incredible. I never heard a pop so loud. It was because we just went on a hiatus, and you know, things were just kind of trying to reassess itself, and you know, WoW was, you could see, was such a great company, and it just didn't, you know, it's not going away. And so I think it was because we just went on a hiatus, and things just kind of changed from there.
Now, your tag team partner, who's also amazing, dealt a lot of pain. Can you tell us a little bit about her and what kind of fun you guys had together?
Oh, like I said, the minute I saw Delta a lot of pain in that ring, I didn't even know her name. I just saw her cornrows. I just saw how she just commanded the ring and had fun. And we really just clicked. The chemistry that her and I have, to this day, we're still friends. You know, she's still my sister from another mister. We were just on the same page in life. We were very spiritual people, and we both had a sense of she had a daily blessings book. I had a daily grateful list. So we were very on the same page of being so happy and so grateful about what's happening, the opportunity. And I think because we shine the lights on each other, that we both were bright. And so she was just so fun. I mean, she really should have been called crazy, because she's the one that got me going. And just with improv, we just jived with improv, and we always made jokes. You know, we were the only vegetarians on the team. We're the biggest, the meanest. Well, I wasn't the biggest, but I had a big mouth. The meanest, and we were the only ones that had to have special plates for us. Yeah, so she's a hoot. She still is to this day. And I mean, like I said, we would play tricks. We would impersonate everybody on the team. I mean, I probably impersonated 3 people already on this interview without even realizing it. It's just how, you know, we got to be with each other. We just trusted each other. We trusted each other. People trusted us. And I think that's what it's all about. Yeah.
And you did a lot of little skits in there too, in the Nevada State Correctional Facility behind bars. How was it like doing those little skits?
Oh, it was we had the best, you know, I think one of the best. Riot had a good intro video too. But we had you know, we drove over there. We had to speak to the warden, you know, it was like real deal Holyfield here. It was a brand new prison. So we actually blessed the prison with caged heatness before the guys came in. I always wonder, if they were watching WoW and they were at the yard, like, yo, that's my bunk number 36. I think we were like 36 or 37. Like, I always wondered that. It was incredible. I mean, it was, like I said, it was brand new prison. So that was nice. And it was a hoot, because we just played off each other, like I said, and in improv, even though there was a skeleton script for us, McLean and the crew would just be like, here, this is what we want you to hit, just go. And in improv, you have to listen in order to respond. So we listened to each other, and therefore we responded to each other, and therefore, you know, it carried on. So, yeah.
Now, somebody that played a major influence in Cage Cheat a little later on is your attorney, Miss Sophia Lopez. Can you tell us how she helped you get you out of prison?
Oh, my Miss Sophia Lopez. I've always she always had a little special place in my heart when I first met Sophia. And I think it was because I knew that I can get her to help Caged Heat. She is brilliant. I mean, she's like the if Charo and Sofia Vergara had a baby, it's Sophia. And she can just dazzle you with her words and with her beauty and with her charm. So I was like, she's the perfect person to, I'm like, look, my dad is a cop. I was like, I know how the system works. My dad was a New York City police officer, you know, so I knew that she could help us out and defend us, and she's a hustler, so she was perfect for us.
Now, you had so many great matches. I mean, the best tag team matches out there. Is there a match that was your favorite to perform?
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. There were so many good matches. What was my favorite? Obviously, I wanted to wrestle the pay-per-view. I love Easy Rider and Charlie and Peggy. I mean, Easy Rider is another one where she's another one that gets everyone in stitches, you know. And so there's a lot of comedy, a lot of charm going around. So that was super fun. I couldn't wait to wrestle her. And Paradise and the Persian Princess, that was a really fun match where you could see how Delta and I just are so rhythmically, is that a word? It is now, together in that. You could see the power team that we had. So yeah.
Did you have a favorite move to do in the ring?
My favorite move was probably my big mouth talking. I think I got more tired from talking so much crap. It's so much energy. But I loved just dropping elbows, and you know, just those short like clotheslines, and of course we took the Dudley Boys. Delta and I loved the Dudley Boys, and we would modify. You could see in some of our moves we could modify. So the clothesline off the top rope was always a good one too. My hard time.
Have you ever been hurt in the ring?
Actually, yes. It's one of those things where, as a wrestler, you don't think about getting hurt. That's everyone's non-wrestling question. Like, do you ever think about getting hurt in the ring? You know, it's like, no, you don't think about that. So I was wrestling Roxy Powers and Tanja, the Warrior Woman. And I just got tagged in. It's the first, you know, my Loca move. I would, you know, just go straight for the gut and go for a body slam. And so I went to kick, and I didn't really make much contact. I don't know, you know, it's just one of those things that it went wrong, and something went wrong with my knee. And throughout the whole, I mean, I was dropping an elbow from the second rope. Everything was on that knee. And with adrenaline, you just keep going. But every time I watch that match, not like I watch that match all the time, but when I do come across that match, I know exactly how much pain I was in. And then I was in denial. I was like, no, I'm fine. And Delta and I ended up we had to shoot some stuff afterwards, running up and down the stairs. And I had a stick shift car at the time. And that's when I went to pop it in gear, and I was like, my knee. And I ended up partially tearing my PCL, which the doctor's like, this happens to race car drivers and ski athletes. I'm like, I don't know.
Is there a certain type of match that you would like to see in WoW that WoW hasn't done yet?
Let's see. What hasn't been around is like a battle royale, you know, like
Yes,
going back to.
I say that all the time. I was like, come on, you girls got to do another battle royal. I always joke with Stephen Dickey. I said, put it in the air. It's going to be called the Mike Rand Battle Royal.
Totally, absolutely, because it's just old school, you know. It's kind of like that old school stuff where you just want to see everybody in the ring. You want to see what's going on, and it's a perfect way to introduce everyone and to get thrown out of the ring if you never have. Sometimes I'm like, what? That would be awesome. Yeah.
And how do you think women's wrestling has evolved over the years?
Well, finally, like I said, it has definitely gotten the respect that it's always deserved. Women's wrestling, women, period. You know, we have all these adversities against us, and then in the sports world, and then in the wrestling world. I mean, that is just such, talk about like a man's world that was created, and for us to kind of, you know, and I love Selena Majors and how she comes from old school wrestling. I mean, as I was trained by the best. Selena has been around, and I mean, she's just, you could see. So I'm so proud that it's gotten the respect that it finally has gotten. For me with WoW, again, I have a very specific story. I came in, I was with WoW only. I didn't know any of the other, you know, independent thing that was going around, and, you know, certain things that happen that, I don't know, like just David McLean and Selena just really kept us safe. It really was the world of women of WoW. You know, it was our world, it was our planet, and anything went. And he kept us safe, and I was always gracious for that, because there's a lot of stories that go on out there. And so as far as women's wrestling, Glow on television, it kind of gives an idea of what we've gone through. I mean, that's pretty much our story, you know, athletic women actors. And, you know, so I'm proud to say that I want to see WoW just continue to take off.
Did you watch the original Glow when it was out in the, you know, back in the day?
I did. Like I said, my parents, I was in Queens or the Bronx on one weekend, and I was in Long Island for going to school. So that was something that I would wake up to. I just didn't know, like, I was just so glorified with like the characters, you know, and the wrestling. I wanted more wrestling though. Like, I remember being like, I remember thinking as a kid, like, I could do better than that. Like, who are you?
What would you say you've learned most from your time at WoW and meeting David McLean?
It changed my life. It's funny, you know, I call David McLean. I'm the only one who calls him McLean, and he lets me get away with it. He taught, well, first of all, I'm an actor today. I mean, I've always was an actor, but I learned so much about character development and intention and why I'm doing something, and what am I going to get out of it. I mean, that's what makes great characters, and why Selena is a genius with setting up storylines, because it's about the story. You want to care about the wrestler. You want to care if she's going to win. You want to care if he's going to lose, she's going to lose, or, you know, why are they doing this? What's the setup? You know, so I learned so much about psychology of the match, and this mini story. I mean, it's like a mini short film. And, you know, I look at Selena as this, you know, director of all these mini short films, and it goes on and on. And to me, I really think differently as far as character and then in life, you know, like, you know, why are you going to do something, and how are you going to do it, and how you go about it makes you the villain or the hero.
Exactly. Character development is so important because you have to be invested in these characters. You have to, you know, really love these characters in order to keep watching. Let's just say for some reason you didn't get to be Loca and you had to be somebody else. Is there a particular character from the show that you wished you had a chance to be?
To be honest with you, nope. But as far as like, let me see. I mean, because, you know, like I said, let me see, who would I love to be hanging around? I mean, Jungle Girl's always a awesome, you know, especially like I'm such an animal person, and like, and she's just such a strong wrestler. So she was fantastic. You know who I really loved too was Becky. Becky the Former's daughter was an
Yeah,
incredible wrestler.
Becky was great.
She was something. I loved her athleticism and her commitment. So that would be fun. That would be fun to, you know. But as far as like, I think I gravitate more towards like the jungle, more animalistic things. So Jungle Girl, whew, if I could even possibly, she's a freak of nature. That woman.
Now, we did see that there has been some tag team tournament recently on WoW, but you weren't involved in it. So are you still with WoW?
You know, it's one of those things where, you know, the world of wrestling, what I love about it is the mystery. It's, you know, what is really happening, what is not really happening. And I love that. I'm someone that of surprise, of twists and patience. So in the world of wrestling, it's like, you know what? Everything, sometimes you don't know if something is planned or not planned, and I love that. And so right now, you know, we're lingering, so it's never over until pigs fly.
So what you are doing though in the meantime is some acting. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, absolutely. I am with the Actors Lab. You can look that up, under JD Lewis. I've been studying under him since 2000, actually, right when I booked wrestling. I was I was like the actor in the beginners class that booked this television show, and everyone was like, what is going on? So I learned a lot, like I said, with the parallels of character development and psychology of acting. And I also teach the beginners class, obviously right now on Zoom, which is a great thing to just keep momentum, keep it going. And I also teach, I assistant teach special needs. My niece is at Down syndrome, and it's my favorite time of the week of my life. Like anything can be going on. It just dissipates when I check in with, they're called Born to Act players. And Mary Rings is the instructor, and any actor that you see on television, special needs, has come through this school. And it's just my absolute honor to learn, to teach everything I've learned to these special needs students, because they understand the moment. It's as actors and as humans, we want to know, oh, keep in the present, stay in the moment. They teach me that. You know, here we are going, oh, you know, they're slow. No, they're ahead. They're bored. They're sitting here trying to teach us of patience and love and happiness. And, you know, here we are like, do, do, do. So it's my greatest joy ever.
So what were some of the projects that you were in?
Let's see. After WoW, I went and I was still studying at the Actors Lab, and I booked Veronica Mars is probably perhaps people most know me in the acting world as Fern Delgado. All my scenes were with Kristen Bell. She was wonderful to work with. They were setting me up for being a series regular. And then the show went and canceled on me. But it was such a great experience. I still talk to the two of the other girls on there. I would see Kristen Bell here and there, just out in different events or whatnot. I also did Nip Tuck, Weeds. That was super fun with Mary Louise Parker. And I remember my agent telling me, like, she's very particular, you know, she likes to be to herself. Don't talk to her unless she talks to you. And I was like, okay, cool. And we were in our scene. They happened to be when they were in New York. So of course, me being from New York, it was very easy to slip into my New Yorkness. And we were talking about the scene, and she went and introduced herself to me. She's like, hi, I'm Mary Louise. And in my head, I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, hi, you know. And at the end of the scene, I walked over to her, very high school of me. I was like, can you sign my script? And she said, absolutely. And she wrote, you're a star. And of course, I still have that. So it was, you know, everyone's experience with different actors. You can't really listen to the grapevine. It's your own experience. I did Southland, The Game, Pooch Hall, and commercials. I've done a Jack in the Box commercial and some hair commercials and stuff like that. But I love a stage show too. I do a show called Chico's Angels, stage show for the last 17 years, and I do over the top characters. But the three angels are played by men, and there's Quesadilla, Frida Lay, and Chita Parol. So it's very silly stuff. I impersonate Charro, and I play an old Mexican, an old lady, a prison guard. I love over the top characters and stuff. You can check that out. Oh. chicosangels.com. Check that out. And what else? The actorslab.com too. That's where I study and teach. If you guys are interested to come teach, I'll teach you.
Okay, and now it's time for the lightning round.
Oh.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to name you a couple things, and you tell me which one you prefer.
Okay.
So we're going to start off with a little bit country or a little bit rock and roll.
A little bit rock and roll.
Jogging or hiking.
Hiking.
An email or a letter.
Oh, I love letters.
Would you rather be the passenger or the driver?
Come on now, Mike. I'm a driver.
That's right. Football or basketball?
Football. Oh, my dog says football too.
Would you rather drive a car or a truck?
A truck. I had a 61 Chevy.
Who would you rather have judge you? Judge Judy or Simon Cowell?
Judge Judy.
Oh, wait, I don't know about that, Loca. Do you really want Judge Judy to be the judge? She could lock you up.
We share something. We share it. She'll feel me.
Pancakes or waffles?
Waffles are fun.
A pen or a pencil?
Pen.
Train or plane?
Train.
Jeopardy or Wheel of Fortune?
Jeopardy.
Comedy or drama?
Comedy.
Yes, I love comedy too. Thank you so much for joining us today. I had a blast. Can you tell everybody what your contact information is if anybody wants to get in contact with you?
Thank you so much, Mike. I had such a great time today. Yeah, I have my handle on Instagram is Cher Loca 375, and my Twitter is at Cher Ferreyra, and Facebook, same thing, Cher Ferreyra. Hit me up. I'm available.
All right. Thank you again for joining us. Thank you guys for watching. And we will talk to you all soon, everybody. Keep it right here for some more great interviews. Bye, everybody.
Bye.